All right. You ready to dive right into the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So now
Yeah,
I am going to go ahead and spin my horror wheel
okay.
for your silly stupid matchup.
Okay.
Hmm. Now tell me if you would like to re-roll this because because we've had this character before and it was your scenario last time because I'm bringing back the Leprechaun, our
Oh,
favorite our favorite D-list
hmm.
horror icon. If you would like him to not be there because you've talked about the Leprechaun specifically, Leprechaun versus Conan,
Correct.
which is
Yeah,
a funny
yeah.
enough.
Let's forego the leprechaun this time.
Okay,
Let's do another one.
we've already shat on the Leprechaun enough in Leprechaun versus Conan. All right.
Quality story I came up with for that though too.
Oh
It's
yeah,
good.
and we discussed how the Leprechaun can only actually kill people because his victims just kind of let him do it. Like
Yeah.
most people should be able to stand up to the Leprechaun realistically. But I spun again. It is now Dr. Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, classic horror here. Dr. Frankenstein. You can use
Okay.
whatever version you'd like. I mean, my favorite is the, classic mad scientist 30s Universal one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really,
See, I was picturing Kenneth Branagh, Robert De Niro, Frankenstein.
mm, from Mary
Um,
Shelley's Frankenstein.
yeah. So I roll Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Should I re-roll, or are we sticking with that?
Um, Up to you. This is your scenario.
Okay, I think I could do something with this.
Okay.
Okay, so how familiar are you with Final Fantasy VII?
Um, I know who Cloud is. I know about the big death in Final Fantasy VII.
Okay,
I
have you
know
played it before?
I have never once played it.
Hmm.
Because one, I didn't grow up with a PlayStation, and two, I still don't have a PlayStation.
Fair
uh,
enough. You
so
know,
no.
it's been re-released on like everything now. It's for super cheap. Anyway,
Oh yeah, it
um,
it is on the Switch, isn't it?
yeah. Um, and on all these re-releases, you can turn on like God mode and like times 3 mode, and you just blast through it and just experience the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of worth your time if you do it that way.
Nice.
Anyway, so the Cloud is a soldier, an ex-soldier. Now, the soldier program for the Shinra Corporation, which is the evil corporation that kind of runs everything in the Final Fantasy VII world, um, they are like high-end super soldiers experimented on with Mako, which is derived from the planet's energy. So the life stream is essentially the force in Final Fantasy VII talk. And
Mm-hmm.
the life stream, like when we die, our souls go back into the life stream, right?
Okay.
To then, grow into nature and the planet and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually the life stream is what saves the planet from the giant meteor coming that's been summoned. And so this evil corporation harvests this Mako energy and like essentially is draining the life stream from the planet to experiment, create monsters, experiment, make these super soldiers, and kind of basically provide electricity to the people of the planet. So like Cloud is an ex-soldier who has this shit's so fucking complicated and it's told over the course of like 100-hour campaign and the remake. So like I'm trying to condense it as much as possible. So bear with me. Cloud is an ex-soldier who has the memories of someone else who was a better ex-soldier. And his rival, Sephiroth, who was his hero growing up, was like the greatest soldier ever known, right?
Okay.
And in a way, Sephiroth is very much like Frankenstein's monster
I see. Okay.
in that he was created using stem cells from Genova, which is an ancient, which is like this ancient race of beings. So essentially, he was created in a lab. And when he found out that he was created in a lab, he went nuts, killed everybody, burned the village down, like stabbing people left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So he went super Frankenstein's monster on everything.
I see.
And the doctor that worked on this program was named Hojo.
Okay.
And Hojo is this fucking weirdo. I'm not going to get into it right now, but he really is excited about trying to crossbreed monsters and shit.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. And this whole like experimenting with like dead cells and things like that, like he gets it from his scientist colleague, Dr. Frankenstein.
Mm.
So like a lot of it, Hojo turns out he's actually kind of a huge hack because he gets a lot of his information from this other scientist who's not really working for Shinra, right? He's doing his own thing. He's trying to talk about only about reanimating bodies and bringing loved ones back from the dead and all that. Hojo's like, that's gay. I'm trying to make monsters and like cool shit, but he's using the technology from Dr. Frankenstein. So around the same time that Sephiroth is losing his shit and burning things down and killing people, Dr. Frankenstein, his monster, is also losing his shit, burning things down and killing people, right?
Yeah, okay.
So there's Sephiroth, a man in black, is going around causing all this chaos and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Frankenstein's monster also going around causing this chaos and destruction, maybe involuntarily, but still causing it. Cloud, who's trying to chase down Sephiroth, is following the leads of a man in black, a tall man in black, going around causing all kinds of chaos and destruction. He gets his clues and his stories mixed up, and that actually puts him on the trail of Frankenstein's monster.
I see. You're using the De Niro one?
Sure.
Okay.
Right. But remember, you spun Dr. Frankenstein, so I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of wires I'm connecting here.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it coming through.
Right. So you see how this is happening.
All right.
At the same time, Dr. Frankenstein is also doing his best to try and track down his man in black causing chaos and destruction. Mm-hmm. He ends up on Sephiroth's tail. And, throughout the world, there's any number of like things happening. Cloud is going on quests and also recruiting people to his party. And Dr. Frankenstein is also doing that, but it's like a bunch of dudes on a ship in ice. So circumstances happen. They end up on the same kind of like clues and trail to bring them at the same point at the same time.
Okay.
Cloud's in the Antarctic part where Dr. Frankenstein just pulls in on a boat. He's looking for his monster. He's looking for a man in black that's causing chaos and destruction. Cloud talks to him, listens to his story, and then tries to recruit him to the party first. He's like, "Oh, we're going after the same person. I'm trying to kill him. And Dr. Frankenstein doesn't want to kill his monster. He wants to talk to him. He wants to try and like calm him down. He wants to try and
he wants to be better.
He wants to civilize him, right?
Yeah.
He wants to make him a person, because then his experiment is a success, and then all of his life's work will have meant something, right?
Right.
But then this weirdo with the anime hair is just like, he's gonna try and kill him. He's like trying to destroy his work. Dr. Frankenstein's not having any of that, right? Regardless of whether or not this is going to be an ass stomping, which it will, because Cloud will just completely annihilate this guy. Right?
Sword is as big as he is.
Exactly. Getting these two together to this point has been an endeavor. I'm going to try my best, but I think I managed it where, Cloud wants to recruit him because he thinks he's trying to kill Sephiroth. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm here to stop him. I'm put a stop to all the violence. I'm here to try and kill him. And Dr. Frankenstein's like, no, don't you dare. Basically, that's my baby boy. Right.
Right.
Like, lots of ellipses just going back and forth between the two, because this misunderstanding, which starts the fight, essentially, Dr. Frankenstein doesn't realize that that he's talking about Sephiroth and not his monster that he's trying to save. That's all I can do.
You know what? You took the plot of Final Fantasy VII, but added something to it. That's quite an endeavor, because I know that plot is a gigantic thing.
That's at least 70 hours in the campaign.
Oh boy. All right. I thought initially you were just going to be like, yeah, Frankenstein put together Cloud. And I'd be like, yeah, cool. But no.
We had to make it an epic sweeping journey throughout both worlds. Character motivations. This is what I do, man. This is what I do.
This is what I do.
I write stories.